And finally, the crowd beginning to file away, though many of them really don't want to leave Riverfront Stadium. And for Marge Schott, the Reds owner, there's got to be some relief amongst all this joy.
Oh, there's a relief. There's a few more days of this. I don't know. I told Pete, I said, I don't know, Pete, how much I can take of this. He thrives on it, though, I'll tell you.
Well, he loves it, but it's tough on the rest of us. But what a night.
Oh, what a night. And last night, what a night building up to this. This history belongs here in Cincinnati, and I'm so glad it didn't happen in Chicago. I'm sorry, Chicago, but that's the way it is. But this belonged to us.
And quite a nice ceremony, and lovely gifts, and a nice follow-up.
I think so, and but just the history of it all, thank God, you know, this many people could see it. And I hope the whole country is behind us and they know what history it is for us. And I think everybody's been cheering for this. I really do. In fact, I think the Reds are the most favorite team in the United States of America. Okay?
America's team, the Cincinnati Reds.
That's what we're going to have, an America's team, Cincinnati Reds.
That's the way it ought to be. In the first inning, what was going through your mind as first at bat?
Well, I was concerned because I wanted to stall the game start until everybody was in their seats. I didn't want anybody to miss it. And typical Pete, he does it right away, right? So thank goodness we did wait time. And but it was a thrilling thing. I mean, you know, I didn't mind crying because Pete cried. So I figure, okay, I don't know if Schatz was crying up there or not, but I know Pete and I were crying. And it was a wonderful moment. And people in the stands were crying. That's how touching it was. You know?
Marge, I think people across America and really around the world, because this was televised around the world, had to be crying. You couldn't help it. It was just such a touching moment.
I mean, and you know, when you see this many people all in accord with one thing, that's what our country and the whole world needs. People all rooting for one thing.
And now you, as the new owner, with really a new start to a wonderful franchise, really have some momentum now to build on.
I hope so. I mean, we're going to, you know, make the Reds successful, and baseball is going to become, with the help of Uberoth and everybody else, is going to become a healthy game again in this country. I really believe that, because baseball belongs to America, and it's something we have to cherish and something we have to be so careful to be sure that we have it for the future.
And Pete Rose says he wants to play next year again.
Well, sure, why not? I mean, Shotzi wants to too, okay?
Shotzi and Pete Rose ready to go.
Shotzi and Pete out there ready to go. But no, if Pete wants to play and he can play, I love it. Love every minute of it. Hope he plays to 60.
Why not? That's still young retirement, right?
That's right. We can go out in a wheelchair together, okay?
Marge, congratulations. You've done a marvelous job. It was a wonderful night for the world to see right here in Cincinnati. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you, and I appreciate all the fans and the support of everybody in the country.
Marge Schott, majority owner of the Cincinnati Reds, on the big night here in Cincinnati as Pete gets the greatest hit of all time. And that's Pete's mom, Laverne. And, of course, they always talk about Pete's dad, but you know how instrumental any mom is in any family. The greatest hit of all time continues live from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati after these special messages. Does not want to leave as the hour approaches 11 here in Cincinnati. It was at 8:01 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time tonight that history was made when Pete Rose picked up that memorable hit. I'm Ken Wilson. We're glad you're part of the greatest hit of all time, and certainly for Bill Burgess, the club's general manager, you came on the scene and you have become a key man in the front office, and this has got to be fun for you.
This is very exciting, Ken. Not only is Pete an outstanding ball player, which he's been for many years, but he's just an outstanding gentleman. He's a fine man to work with, and I couldn't be happier for someone to get this record and to get all the acclaim that he's getting, because it's well deserved.
And in terms of baseball, it's a big night. And it's kind of hard in baseball, being such a great game with so much history, to put it all in perspective, what it means when they'll write the complete history of this game.
Well, yes, because I happen to feel that this is one record that may never be broken, because of the fact that ball players of today just don't seem to be able to stand the gaff, to stand up to the pressures, the competition for as many years as Pete has.
Endurance, such a key. Now, you work with Pete. He's the manager. You're the GM. That's an important relationship in an organization.
Yes, it is, and I have to say that I've worked with a lot of fine managers. I've worked with fellas like Billy Martin, Bob Lemon, Gene Michael, Dick Hauser. I want to say this, Pete Rose is as nice a man as you could ever want to work with. He's so cooperative. He knows his baseball, and we talk all the time. We talk every day, and I tell you, it's just a great relationship that we enjoy.
We've spent a lot of time talking about Pete tonight, and well, we should. But I know Reds fans in particular have gotten a big lift this year with the improvement of the club. The Diazes, the Bells have come along, and the youngsters, for instance, tonight, Tom Browning. The future is rosy.
Yes, it is. It's very rosy because we have some more youngsters just like Tom Browning down in the farm system. Our fellas like Chief Bender, Larry Doty, Greg Riddock have done a fine job of first finding those ball players and then having them develop those kids to have them ready to come up to this club.
It looks like maybe not a dynasty to talk about yet, but certainly a contending team definitely for the future with the fellows like Eric Davis, Cal Daniels, who played at Denver. There are, and Kurt Stillwell, the shortstop. There are some true outstanding players on the way.
Yes, I'm happy to say that recently the Baseball America, which is an independent newspaper, picked the top 10 players in AAA, and 4 of those top 10 were ours. In fact, we had 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th player was number 8 of the top 10. So I think that's something to be very proud of.
Were you surviving well, Bill Burgish, in that first inning when Pete came to bat? I know you were in the crowd.
Yes, it was one of the few times that I sat down with Marge Schott in her private box. I usually sit up above, out of the way, and try to keep my records and keep up with things. But tonight I sat down here, and to me it was extremely exciting.
How much longer does Pete Rose go on? Can anybody determine that?
He's just like Old Man River. He just keeps rolling along. When he says he wants to quit, that's when he's going to quit. Because I happen to feel he's far from through as a player.
He can definitely hit, and what a wonderful defensive play he made. This really was Pete Rose's night. 2 runs, 2 hits, great defensive play. He did it all.
Yes, that's right. He did it all tonight, and he's done it all on many other occasions. He's still got a lot of good baseball left in him.
Bill, everybody looking forward to the final weeks of this season. Congratulations on the job you have done, and the future looking good here in Cincinnati.
Thank you, Ken. It's good to be with you.
Bill Burgish, general manager of the Cincinnati Reds. Pete Rose, tonight in the first inning, picked up hit number 4,192, the hit that eclipsed Ty Cobb. So it's now Charlie Hustle, and Ty Cobb is in the background. Base hit, left center field. That was it. The crowd went wild, and Pete, it was quite a moment. We'll return with more of the greatest hit of all time after this.
We continue the greatest hit of all time, and young Pete Rose Jr. joins us now, who is just a sophomore at Oak Hills High School, but a budding superstar and hopes to play in the major leagues. He watched as his father, Pete Rose Sr., drove that base hit into left center field. And Petey, I just wanted to ask you, what was going through your mind as you watched your father to play in that first inning of play?
Oh, that was great. That was the best time of my life I ever had. I had chills at least 10, 15 minutes. It was great.
As he stepped to the plate, you predicted last night it would be his 2nd or 3rd time at the plate. I remember, did you think it would come the first time up tonight?
All the fans, yeah, I thought it was going to happen, but it was great.
From the dugout, your angle, you watched the ball come off the bat, and what were you yelling?
I was yelling for the ball to get down, but right when it got down, I was the first one out of the dugout.
And then standing over at first base, that was such a touching moment, tears rolling down your father's eyes, and he said he was thinking about his father at that time. What was Pete's son thinking at that time?
I was thinking about him all the way, because I never seen him cry before, but I had a little tears myself. It was just, you know, emotional moment, but it was great.
And you raced out there to first base.
I was the first one out there. I was sprinting out there.
How long can this guy go?
I hope forever, but maybe 2 or 3 years, I hope.
He's 44 years old. He still says the most magic moments are the World Series moments.
I don't think so. This has got to be the best. I mean, this was just phenomenal. It was just great.
Will there be an emotional letdown for him?
No, I don't think so. Because he'll come back tomorrow. He'll get 2 hits tomorrow, and he'll be just back in the groove.
What happens to young Pete Rose Jr. now?
Well, I'll go celebrate with my dad.
And then tomorrow you finally head back to school?
Yeah. maybe. I hope, probably, if I get home in time. But I might spend the night at my dad's house, but I'll go to school tomorrow.
All right, Petey, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Pete Rose Jr., who it was such a special moment for he, too, as he watched his father wrap that base hit into left field for base hit 4,192. Now, Ken Wilson's with Joe Morgan at this particular time. Let's go over to those fellas.
On the windy field, the crowd yelling, Joe, Joe. They're about ready to have a night for you, I think.
Well, Pete's gone. I'm the only one left.
Was it fun for you?
It was great. I tell you, it's a magnificent feeling to be involved in something like this, especially as an announcer. You know, I was involved myself on a couple of occasions when I broke a record or did something special, but it's really fantastic for me, especially my first year in broadcasting, to be involved in something like this.
So here we are. Pete Rose has the hit. You've been part of the hoopla. You had fun talking to him, I know, and you're going to visit with him again for a later show. And you know, it's hard to really come up with words when you're trying to wrap something like this up.
Well, I think Pete said it best. He said, I just can't think of words to say at this particular time because it's such an exciting moment. No matter how much you think about it, when it finally happens, it's really unique. You know, the build up and all the things that I thought I might say or think when this happened, it all went out the window. When it did happen, it was there, and all of a sudden my feelings were different. But I'm just happy that I was a part of it because I played with the guy for so many years, and I tell you, he is special.
Pete Rose special in the record book in so many ways, now with 4,192 and 93 hits. And tonight the Reds win 2-0, in part because of Pete, in part because of Nick Esaski's 2 RBIs, and also in big part because of Tom Browning. And he's with Steve Fizziot.
Everybody has been shouting about Pete Rose tonight. We all know he scored the 2 runs for the ball game, but it was a shutout by way of 3 pitchers: Tom Browning, John Franco, and Ted Power. We've got Tom Browning with us at this particular time. Tommy, I know how bad you wanted this victory, just watching you in the dugout before the ball game, seated by yourself, and it looked like you were in a little bit of a sweat.
Well, I was just a little bit nervous. You know, I knew there was going to be 50,000 people in the stands, but, you know, I really tried to put that in the back of my mind. I just went out there and tried, you know, I want to go out there and do the job I know I'm capable of doing. And, you know, it was nice seeing Pete get that base hit the first time up and kind of get rid of that, you know, let the fans take care of that and give him his ovation in. And then it made my job a little bit easier. You know, he just went out there and, you know, played the game, and Pete came up to me and just, you know, kind of said, bear down, let's go get him. And, you know, I was able to do that for 8 1/3 innings, and Franco and Power came in and did a good job. And, you know, I can't take anything away from Eddie Milner. He did a great job for me. Made 2 good plays on me, and, you know, of course, Nick Esaski driving in both runs. You know, it was a good win. It was a Pete Rose night, and he did everything for us tonight. And, you know, it's just incredible being part of this history.
Well, I know it was Pete Rose who took you out of the ball game, and I know how important complete games are to pitchers. What was the conversation on the mound?
Well, I don't know what, you know, was going through his mind. I think he went with Franco, and because he was a little bit stronger than I was, and you know, he didn't want me to get into a situation where I had to, you know, the winning run on up to the plate, and he went with Franco because he's a little bit stronger than I was, and then Franco got Glenn out, and then he brought Teddy, and you know, they did a great job for us again, like they did, and you know, like I said, I can't take anything away from anybody. Milner did a good job, Esaski, you know, Pete, everybody. You know, it's just incredible to be part of this thing. 5
shutouts this year, but you told me before the ball game Pete was going to get the base hit, but it would be lessen the record had we lost the ball game. So a lot of the pressure rested on number 32's shoulders.
Well, you know, once he got the record, I just kind of went out there and bared down and did the best I could, got ahead of the hitters, and you know, tried to do the best I could to get him out. And you know, once he got the record, I think the odds of San Diego winning were slim because you know, it's a Pete Rose night, and we did what we had to do to win, and as it turned out, we won the ball game.
Some final thoughts from you, Tom Browning, just on Pete Rose himself. What have you learned? What have you taken from one of the greatest hitters of all time and now a very fine manager?
Tremendous person. I mean, in every aspect of the word. He's a great manager, great player, a great person. You know, all he does is expect 110% from you. And as long as you go out there and do your job, he's not going to really, you know, he's shown all the confidence in the world with me. You know, Kitty's done the same thing, and as long as you go out there and give 110%, he's going to back you up, and that's, you know, exactly what I want to go out there and do.
Tom's super performance, 5 shutouts this year. Congratulations. The Cincinnati Reds with a victory this evening, 2-0 over the San Diego Padres. We'll come back with some final thoughts on the greatest hit of all time after these words.